in solar and wind cases. For every other kind of zoning right now, we still have those LaSalle factors that the ZBA considers when making those determinations. So my concern about adding those with that, it would create something that would be inconsistent, more stringent than what the law currently provides. And the one thing that come to my mind, well, first of all, and the court had only applied that to special use permits. This was never applied to citing before. That's why it's in our special use permit section of the code. But I know some of the board members have discussed changing the comprehensive plan to take all references of solar and wind out. So if that happened, then we create a situation where we're looking at these 6 factors. If those were taken out, and there's no mention of wind or solar, the board could say, well, they're not in comply with the LaSalle factors, therefore they're not in compliance, we're going to deny it. But that's not what the statute says. The statute says you shall approve if the statute's met. So I would suggest leaving them out, because if you hang your hat on that and you're having a discussion about this and don't think those factors are met, that's not a basis to approve anymore. So I'd recommend not having it.
Discussion among board members turned into grousing about not being able to make its own decisions about renewable energy development and having to follow state law.
Well, I just think it's important to have a vehicle to discuss the impact of these projects on the people who live there. And without, you just look at the state statute, there is no such vehicle for us to have that discussion. Otherwise, we just look down and say yes. And that's kind of like what the old board did.
I was going to say, I don't like the idea of, that we still don't have a choice to be able to say no. I don't disagree that those factors that we shouldn't look at those factors. I just worry about the legality of if they're to substantiate why did we put the factors back in there. I mean, I think it's a good thing to have. It's just that I think legally it puts the state in an odd position to put the factors back in there. And maybe we could hope that before anything would happen again, that state changes their stance on it. We get Trump, if we can get Trump to push hard enough, there won't be any of them that.
So you said there's no choice. I mean, everybody has a choice to say yes or no.
Well, I don't know if that's really true.
Well, they don't meet the state.
If they meet the state, we don't meet it. Doesn't mean that,
right?
Doesn't mean that we have to agree with what it is. I think that's taking my choice away and saying no.
But right now, they can meet the state's criteria and
but not
really be void of the LaSalle factors.
Yeah. According to Board Chair Joe Whitty, the language is clear, and this action would only make things more confusing.
So just some background. I don't think you saw this language in these ordinances 3 years ago when the House Bill 4412, I think it was passed. There was a conference down in Springfield I attended, and the recommendation at that time was, well, do they matter? Maybe not, but it doesn't hurt to have them in. And I think I did a quick survey of some of the surrounding counties. Some of them have it and some of them don't. And I think it's just a result of the unknowns at that time. I think my gut feeling is it does add confusion. It makes it look like we can consider things, but I think the statute is pretty clear that if they meet the siting, decommissioning, and construction requirements, that it says that the county shall approve. So, to make it appear as we can consider other things, I struggle with that, but yeah.
Struggle mightily.
Yeah, I just feel that at least those factors give us a chance to have a discussion at the hearing and give your constituents the opportunity to speak up as the voices to how they feel. And so it's just not totally automatic, like, you never convince me just because the state says so, what I got to do. They never do what I want them to do.
Unfortunately, we just have to abide with what they do,
So, Mr.
no matter if we like it or
So I
not.
don't think it hurts to have them in there.
The board sought the counsel of Markwell in the event of an application meeting all the criteria but being overruled because of the LaSalle factors being in place. He recommended if the board were to turn down an application, they cite specific reasons for not approving the application. He notes state law, though, has not been challenged to this point.
Mr. Markwell, can you speculate on how does it play out if there's a hearing and the majority say no?
Well,
What happens next, do you think?
Then, if the wind or solar project chose to, then they file an action in circuit court, and then obviously the transcripts, the minutes and everything, and their application would be considered by the court to determine whether it was against the manifest weight of the evidence that the board denied this, and they'll specifically look at, okay, here's the state statute, and they can look at the ordinance that's consistent with that statute. But, I would say if in the future, if the board finds that the statute is not met, you should specify why and cite that so the court is aware of that. Because if there's no discussion on that and there's nothing presented, if the court looks at it and says, yes, they met the statute and the board acted improperly, then they'll issue an order for the board to reconsider that or just grant it. I mean, quite honestly.
That's what I was wondering. Does it come back to the board for a do-over, or do they just overturn the ruling?
Well, I think the court would just overturn it at that point. But like I said, at this point, this hasn't been challenged because it's a new law. So I guess we'll all have to wait and see what happens. But, in any kind of hearing like this, whether it's an SUP or not, if there's a basis to deny it, I would state that clearly on the record of what the considerations were and why it was denied.
Well, they would need to meet the state statute and our operational specifications in the ordinance, correct? I mean, otherwise, why do we even have these?
Right. I mean, we're allowed to have an ordinance as long as we don't make it more stringent in those three areas. So, there's a difference between denying the permit and whether they're able to comply operationally with it, I guess. But this is a siting permit.
Board member Terry Ferguson inquired if a local ruling was challenged, would there be a financial implication for the county? Markwell noted the county's rejection of building permits where Enel Green Energy only sought the permits and did not seek restitution, but he noted a company might seek financial compensation for other reasons.
If it went that far and the judge ruled in their favor, would we be obligated for legal costs and
Perhaps.
restitution and delay of construction?
Well, it would depend on what is pled. I mean, we've battled the wind farms in court before, and they didn't seek any type of sanctions or any kind of punitive things. They got their ruling, and the process continued. The last time we did that, it really just depends what they plead. I mean, if they say that they're due restitution because that set them back for whatever reason, I mean, they'll have to plead that.
Joe, you said that you thought that some of the other counties in Illinois had put the factors in there. Do you know any of them that have had a challenge?
I don't think there's been any challenge.
There has not been anything, I checked this week, there hasn't been anything that's gone up to the appellate court that there's appellate law on that.
So we don't know even if there's been a wind farm that has made application in one of the other counties that has put since we've got the new law. Is Livingston, are they trying to get something, or is that? Well, anyway, I didn't know if there was anybody else that put them in and they were questioning that. So.
And that doesn't mean that there may have been a local lawsuit in a circuit court somewhere, but it never went up on appeal if that did happen.
The revision to the local ordinance failed. Patrick Ryan, Buck Carter, and Megan Myers voted in favor of adding the LaSalle factors to the local ordinances. Farmer City learned Wednesday it will be receiving $500,000 for a sidewalk project on the community's south side. City Manager Taylor Baxter indicates the Illinois Department of Transportation announced the grants Wednesday. He says this development will make the community safer.
Very excited for this one, Seth. A lot of work went into this, and thankfully we were rewarded for that. The Illinois Department of Transportation has a grant program called the ITEP grant, and that's the Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program. And the city of Farmer City was awarded $488,700 for a sidewalk project along Illinois Route 54. And this sidewalk project is on the southern portion of 54. It's going to go from Main Street to Summer Street. So it's about half mile worth of sidewalk. And this is something that I've talked about before on the radio show is there's a lot of bike traffic, walking traffic along 54. And now this is really going to connect where that old Casey's was at past the new Casey's. And it's going to make it a lot safer for people to travel back and forth. So we're really excited for this.
Baxter credits former city manager Sue McLaughlin for doing most of the heavy lifting to get this grant.
Yeah, and got to give a huge shout out to our previous city manager, Sue McLaughlin. She worked very, very hard on this along with our engineers. And so, some of the prep work that goes into this, a lot of different engineering studies need to be done, preliminary plans that need to be done. And then each project is scored, and that's kind of how they determine what projects get chosen. So there's two different ways that they get that each project gets scored, and that's the community score and then the overall review score. So each project has different criteria, and if you meet those criteria, then you get, let's say you get a point. And our project met enough of those points where they felt that this is going to be a project worth investing in. So very excited, thankful for Sue McLaughlin. She did a lot of the heavy work and lifting on this for sure.
According to Baxter, they will update the specs of the project in hopes of still getting it out for bid this year, but notes it will most likely be next year. News time is 21 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Friday. We stream to Facebook and YouTube on this Friday morning. Also stream live online all the time at DeWittDailyNews.com. Sports is next.
Here asking you to find out the many ag lending products we can offer your farm by clicking our ad on the local news page of DeWittDailyNews.com. Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Brady Hart singled in Gage Flaherty in the top of the 7th inning to break a 1-all tie, and Normal West edged Muhammad Seymour 2-1. In non-conference high school baseball action Thursday in Muhammad, Sam McCulley hit a one-out double, and Flaherty was inserted as a courtesy runner. Hart singled to right, allowing Flaherty to score. Hart went 2 for 4 with an RBI for the Wildcats. Chase Newth was 2 for 4 with a triple, while McCulley was 1 for 2 with a double and an RBI. Nolan Schultz added a double, going 1 for 3. Chase Reinhardt earned the win on the mound for Normal West, pitching 6 2/3 innings, allowing a run and striking out 6. Normal West improves to 20-13 on the season. Lincoln scored 4 runs in the 3rd inning and rolled to a 7-1 win over Decatur MacArthur in non-conference high school baseball action Thursday in Lincoln. With the game tied at 1, Drew Hayes led off the frame with a single. Parker Grau was hit by a pitch. Both runners advanced during Jaden Gully's at bat, who brought home Hayes with a ground out to first to make it 2-1 Rail Splitters. Carson Comnick tripled in ground, followed by a Brady Miller base hit that scored Owen Comstock, running for Comnick, making it 4-1 in favor of Lincoln. Kyle Keeler singled in Miller, who stole second and third base, making it 5-1. Hayes was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a stolen base. Brady Miller swiped 2 bags, finishing 1 for 2 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Goalie and Keeler had RBIs for Lincoln, while Comnick was 1 for 3 with a triple. Lincoln is 14-16 overall. They wrap up the regular season hosting Lanphier on Saturday. Class 1A high school baseball regional semifinal action from Thursday from the Argenta-Orienta Regional at Decatur-Milliken. Arcola blanked Decatur Unity Christian 10-0, and Argenta-Orienta blanked Cerro Gordo 9-0. From the DeWitt Regional, Lexington outlasted Leroy in 8 innings, 7-4. From Illini Bluffs, Sullivan edged Havana 4-3. From the Hayworth Regional, Roanoke Benson took down Ridgeview in 6 innings, 12-2. Class 2A high school baseball regional semifinal action from Thursday. From the Auburn Regional, Auburn beat Pana 5-1. From the Olympia Regional, shifted to the Corn Crib in Normal. Prairie Central edged Tremont 2-1. From the Tolono Unity Regional, Tolono Unity pounded Paxton Buckley Loaded 12-2. From the North Mac Regional, Shelbyville got by Hillsboro 14-4. Class 1A high school regional semifinal action from Thursday. From the Leroy Regional, it was Leroy over Hayworth 9-1, and Fisher beat GCMS 11-1. Class 2A high school softball regional semifinal action from Thursday. From the Lyle Regional, IVC blanked Spring Valley Hall 13-0, and Peru St. Bede outlasted El Paso Gridley 8-6. From the St. Joe Ogden Regional, Westville doubled up Bloomington Central Catholic 10-5. From the Olympia Regional, DMAC down Tremont 10-2. Class 1A high school softball regional championship action for today. From the Illini Bluffs Regional, Illini Bluffs goes for a regional championship opposite Danville. From the Leroy Regional, Leroy goes for a regional title opposite Fisher. From Villa Grove, it'll be Villa Grove and Central A&M. Saturday action from Tuscola. Tuscola takes on Arcola at 10 a.m. Class 2A high school softball regional championship action this afternoon at 4. From Bismarck-Henning, it'll be Seneca and Lexington. From the Macon Regional, Meridian takes on Pana this afternoon at 4:30. From the Monticello Regional at 4:30, it's Tolono Unity and Tri-Valley. Tonight from the Quincy Notre Dame Regional, QND takes on Buffalo Tri-City at 5:30. And from the Olympia Regional at 4:30 this afternoon, Olympia takes on DMAC. Saturday regional championship action from the St. Joe Ogden Regional, Normal U High takes on Westville at 11 a.m. Class 1A high school baseball regional championship action for Saturday. Today, it'll be Hayworth taking on Peoria Heights in regional semifinal play at 4:30. And the winner takes on Roanoke Benson at 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. From the Argenta-Orienta Regional, Arcola battles Argenta-Orienta tomorrow at 11. From the Illini Bluffs Regional, it'll be Illini Bluffs and Delavan tomorrow morning at 11. From the Milford Regional, GCMS takes on Milford at 11. And finally, from the Tuscola Regional, Mount Pulaski battles Tuscola tomorrow morning at 11. Class 2A high school baseball Saturday regional championship action from the Maroa Forsyth Regional. Monticello takes on Maroa Forsyth tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Hear that action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. From the Quincy Notre Dame Regional, Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin battles QND tomorrow morning at 11. From the Riverton Regional, it'll be Pleasant Plains and Pittsfield tomorrow morning at 10. From the Olympia Regional, Normal U High battles Prairie Central tomorrow morning at 11. From the Tolono Unity Regional, St. Joe Ogden takes on Tolono Unity at 10. And from the North Mac Regional, North Mac battles Shelbyville tomorrow morning at 11. Illinois Illinois State dropped a pair of Thursday games at the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament in Normal. First to second-seeded Missouri State 7-2, then to sixth-seeded Belmont 7-3. Missouri State scored 7 runs in the fourth inning to break open the opener. Back-to-back doubles in the eighth allowed ISU to get on the board with Shy Robinson plating Braden Bakes. Noah Smith led the Redbirds with 3 hits in the contest. Belmont scored 3 times in the first 3 innings, highlighted by a 2-run home run. Illinois scored its first run in the fifth off an RBI single from Smith. Smith led off the eighth for the Redbirds with a solo shot before Daniel Contreras sent home Judah Morris with a sac fly for a 7-3 final. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
MR Systems Wireless is your local internet provider for Clinton and surrounding area. They have the products you want and the local service you deserve. MR Systems Wireless Internet service for home or business includes unlimited data, unlimited streaming, and unlimited calling. Plans start at just $48 a month and get a free Roku 4-lease with our media packages. Get the speed you need with MR Systems Wireless. Call them at 935-2100. That's 935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The FBI vowing to leave no stone unturned in its investigation of Wednesday night's deadly shooting outside the Capitol Jewish Museum in Washington, D.C. 30-year-old Elias Rodriguez of Chicago faces multiple charges in the attack and left 2 people dead. The Trump administration has revoked Harvard University's ability to enroll international students, the school responding by filing suit against the administration. The charred wreckage of a